Welcome for my tourism Pathshala. It will transform your dream into reality. Good morning, my dear student. Syllabus analysis is the key to success any competitive exam, especially UGC NET and JRF. I welcome all of my students who want to appear in UGC NET in coming year. In my previous video, I have analyzed unit 1 and unit 2. You have to follow this video, then you can understand how can we make the mind map important, how can we identify important area of this syllabus. Now we are going to analyze the unit 3. Unit 3 is the based on the tourism resources. Last few years, more or less every year, they provide 7 to 8 questions from this area. This is the one of the informative area and also the interesting area. This area based on tourism resources. Tourism resource can be identified into 3 ways. Number 1, physical resource. Number 2, biological resource. Number 3, cultural resource. In this section, we are going to analyze the important area of physical resource, environmental resource and cultural resource. From this unit, they provide the various cultural resources of our country. Under this section, heritage, indigenous heritage of India, they provide the fair and festivals, different form and types of performing arts, classical dance, folk dances, more or less question they provide from this area, classical dance, folk dances. Next, Indian classical music, and they also provide the Indian classical music, regional folk dance. This is a very important chapter. And vocal instrumental music, Indian museum, also question come, there are different famous museum of India, art galleries. And Indian cuisine, another important area, regional variation of Indian cuisine. And from this section you will definitely get 2 or 3 questions. Number 1, Indian classical dances or folk dances, classical music or folk music, and Indian museum. And each and every year you definitely get the question from Indian cuisine, especially regional cuisine of India. They will provide the question, the matching best question, and sometimes they ask the MCQ on Indian regional cuisine. Next area, historical monuments. Under this section, temples, caves, stupas, monastery, fort, palaces, and Islamic and colonial art and architecture. So this section, the ancient temple and stupas, monastery and fort, also the important chapter under this section. And Islamic and colonial art and architecture, they also provide the question in this section. Next area, World Heritage Site of India. This is very important area. World Heritage Site of India. We have to study in this section. Not only the when World Heritage Site has been considered on year, you have to study the important features of this World Heritage Site. Location, recognition. Number 1, location. Number 2, recognition. Number 3, important features of that particular site. Next important section, the religious center of India, especially holy places concerned with Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, Islamism and Christianity, and religious sects of India. Each and every years or semester, you definitely get the question from World Heritage Site, my dear. I repeat again, this section is very important. Places associated with the work and life, legendary figure, the new trend, they will the question will provide from this section, the places associated with the work and life of the legendary figure. Rabindranath Tagore, their famous book, the famous places, is a very important. Next important area, important passes related to Indian freedom movement, important places related to Indian freedom struggle. These are our cultural part, cultural and heritage portion of our country. Next section, the national wildlife resources and National Park of India. Major national park and wildlife sanctuaries. Biosphere reserve in India is a very important area. The location, place, location, and when it considered as a recognized as a wildlife resources and sanctuary, we have to study and remember. Next area, famous biosphere reserve, Ranthambore, Shimlipal, Bhitarkonika, Kanha National Park, Bandhavgarh National Park, Gir, Sundarban, Manos, Valley of Flowers. What are the unique features, unique flora and fauna, and also I have to remember the location and area, also the very important perspective. Next important area, hill station, we have to study. Famous hill station, Gulmarg, Nainital, Pachmari, Mahabaleshwar, Munnar, Uti. These are the very important, and Darjeeling, Shillong, Gangtok. And next area, beach resort of India. Different beach resort, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Lakshadweep, Andaman, Nicobar. This section based on hill stations, hills, wildlife resources, the natural resources. Under this section, wildlife resources we have to study, biosphere reserve and sanctuary. Next, famous hill station, hill areas, and third important area, the coastal and beach area. This section. Apart from, we have to study the emerging attraction, emerging trend of tourism. This is the modern area, and Government of India, Ministry of Tourism, they emphasize this area to promote and explore. In this section, each and every day they provide more or less 1 or 2 questions from this emerging trend of Indian tourism, such as medical tourism, ecotourism, rural tourism. Ecotourism, suppose as an example, as ecotourism, the conception of ecotourism, UNWTO or UN WTO definition or conception of ecotourism. Who has coined this conception, and what are the origin of this section? As a caravan tourism, MICE tourism, Gulf tourism, unique tourism area, lighthouse tourism, textile tourism, indigenous tourism, wellness and spa tourism, culinary tourism. Culinary tourism is a very, very famous area. They provide the question. This section is really vast section, but on this section you definitely this question from this section. Number one, cultural and heritage resources of India. Number 2, ecology and environmental resources of India. Number 3, physical and amusement park of this area. Number 4, important places associated with the freedom fighter. Next important area, wildlife resources and heritage, world heritage site of India. You definitely get the question from this section. And finally, you will get the question, the unique trend of emerging trend or unique trend of modern Indian tourism. So these are the mind map. These are the important area. These are the technically analysis. If we can cover this area systematically, technically, we definitely score 12. Definitely get the question from 8 to 10 question, minimum 20 marks out of 200. 10% from this area we can cover. And my dear student, you also remember that they also provide the comprehension. The comprehension, they will provide the paragraph. The paragraph basically based on the unique destination. If you have the very good knowledge, the unique destination, location, resources, cultural, environmental resources according to Indian geography, as an example, Northeast area important tourism attraction, you definitely chase the area. They will provide the question from comprehension. So these are our journey, and we have to connect with this subject analytically, systematically, and scientifically. I think you can understand the important area of this section. You will get the benefit from this. If you want to get analytical question answer, discussion and suggestion for your upcoming exam, subscribe this channel and send your queries in comment box. Thank you, my dear.